What is up, YouTube? It's Alex here with the breakdown. Cameron Payton. Today we're going to talk about the MLB All-Star break, and we're at the halfway point in the MLB season. Let's talk about what's been happening, our predictions for the rest of the season, and how we think everything's going to play out. Let's get right into it. Starting off, AL East, the best division in baseball by far. It's not even close.
Yes, sir.
5 teams at 500 or better at the All-Star break. Absolutely unreal. We have the Yankees in first, Rays in second, Toronto in third, Boston in fourth, and then the Orioles rounding out at the 5th spot. What are y'all guys' thoughts on this division so far?
The Rays and the Orioles are always separated by 5 games. That's ridiculous. I mean, the Orioles were a team that is always written off. This year, I mean, their bullpen is disgusting. Jorge Lopez is dominating that bullpen. Obviously, Adley's up. They have plenty of prospects to come behind. The Orioles could be starting a little something in the AL.
They're in the wild card mix.
Yeah,
that's something that I think nobody expected at all.
Yeah, their bullpen is very nice. Like, it's one of the best bullpens.
And they're missing John Means this whole year, so I mean, who knows what could be brewing there, especially in years to come.
For sure.
Yeah, I think coming down the stretch, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, Rays are all fighting for a wild card spot. I think that's going to be a good battle coming down the line towards the end of the season. Personally, I think we can all agree that the Rays will probably pull that out. I feel like led by ace Shane McClanahan.
He's been unreal.
Cy Young
favorite.
Yeah. I think they're probably the favorites out of that division, outside the Yankees, obviously.
Yeah.
The Red Sox have been trending upwards recently, but they've also been kind of on the decline of
I
their...
did see they have not won a single series against the Yankees
which is
this whole year. Which
insane. They're like 16.
And come playoff time, if they make the playoffs, that becomes a big issue because as of right now, it's looking like at least 3 teams from the AL East are looking like they're going to make the playoffs, and there's a possibility that we could see 4 AL East teams in the playoffs.
Which is when was the last time 4 teams from the same division has made the playoffs?
I mean, the only real 2 contenders to like the wild card right there are obviously the Mariners on a 14-game win streak, which is
hot.
I mean, one of the most exciting teams to watch in baseball, and also the Guardians. A team that's not talked about at all because they've underperformed so badly is the Chicago White Sox. The AL Central is kind of just like a weird division this year because everybody expected the White Sox to run away with it early on.
Yeah.
And they kind of struggle with injuries and like their pitching hasn't been the best. So
management has not been. La Russa has been pretty horrible.
Everybody,
he's not gone.
Did you see the clip of everybody chanting "Fire La Russa"?
Yeah, he's been awful. I think the game's passed him up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to have a young core and have one of the oldest managers in MLB history, you need a guy that is a player's manager, like a younger guy that definitely gets the dugout. I mean, especially when you're losing,
right?
Gets the dugout hyped up instead of just all right, let's go back to work today.
And that's a team that I think we all expected to run away with the division. I don't think anyone expected them to. They're not even in second. They're in 3rd place. They're sitting behind the Guardians and the Twins.
Yeah.
The Twins have been honestly surprised. I don't think anybody expected the Twins to be really good. I expect them to be decent, but Buxton has played well. They have Correa.
Yeah.
Luis Arias leads the league in average.
I think.
Santiago,
I mean,
Espinal,
yeah.
I mean, you obviously saw that the Twins upgraded over the offseason, so I wouldn't say this is a big surprise for them to be leading this division. But I think it is a surprise that the White Sox are 3rd.
Yeah.
More of a surprise that the Twins are leading the division. Yeah. I mean, when you add Correa, it obviously elevates your team.
And their pitching has actually been a lot better than people expected.
I feel like Cleveland could win this division because they're not a great team, obviously.
But I feel like they're really decent. I don't think they're good.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have enough pieces for me. Their pitching is all right. Tristan McKenzie has been lights out recently.
Shane, obviously.
Shane Bieber, yeah. You have Jose Ramirez. They have a couple of young guys they called up, Nolan Jones, but I don't know if I really see them with the firepower to win the division.
Yeah.
That's why I look back at the White Sox, but they just haven't really got it going.
Yeah, and then on to the West, like Peyton said, one of the hottest teams right now, the Mariners, creeping up on the Astros, only 8 games behind.
They're 9
games behind. It's doable. It's doable.
possible.
But yeah, no one sees it happening.
I think
Astros
Astros
are
have that
probably
division on lock.
It's not possible.
they're probably the best team in baseball outside of the Yankees.
I think you consider they're the best team in baseball because they play in the AL West. If they play in the AL East, I think their record would be probably I think they would probably lose like 4 or 5 more games. But
Yeah,
I think
that's
the Astros,
respectable though.
the Astros can build their. I mean, I don't know if they make a move at the deadline. I mean, with trade deadline to come out, I think the Yankees should definitely go after Castillo.
The Yankees definitely need. Well, first of all, Gallo needs to go.
Yeah.
For any team that's trying to win a World Series, Gallo
Right.
has to be gone. And then you have to try to add another arm because the starters are getting tired. A lot of guys haven't thrown that many innings before. I mean, Castillo is the perfect acquisition for them.
So-
and then maybe a guy like another outfielder. Benintendi was the guy that they were looking at, but he
Yeah,
can't.
Benintendi's been hot around
But he
the
can't
league.
play in Toronto
Toronto.
because, which is that's an
Stupid.
absolute X from an AL East team because that's a problem.
So
They need to add another outfielder, whether it's a lower tier guy. I mean, Matt Carpenter has looked like the outfielder of
Stud.
the future, an absolute stud. So he's gonna find himself a lot more playing time.
Maybe put Andujar in the outfield.
Andrew, yeah, he's still in
Give
Triple
him a
A.
freaking shot.
We'll
I
see.
don't know what's going on there.
What was he? The Eagle Rookie of the Year?
A couple years ago, yeah. I want to talk about Toronto Blue Jays for a second because I think they've been one of the biggest. I mean, they sit here, they're at 15-43, which is by far not a bad record, but I expected them to win this division. I expected them to be one of the best teams in baseball, and they just
Right.
haven't.
Yeah, you said at the beginning of the year
They were my
your
World Series
World
pick.
Series, yeah.
I mean, their
I
lineup.
wouldn't completely write it off.
I'm not
Right?
writing
It's still
it off.
halfway through the season. We still have time.
Their
But I agree with
their
you.
pitching has been bad.
Yeah.
Ryu got hurt. Jose Barrios has been one of
Not
the
big,
worst
good,
pitchers in the league this year. He has like a 6 ERA. He's not striking guys out like he used to. Kikuchi has also been one of the worst pitchers in the league this year with his walk rate. So
Gossman on the same guys
Goss-
as last.
Gossman also had some injuries. So you look at that and it looks like it's an Alec Manoah carried staff he's actually been amazing this year. But besides the point, their pitching has not been there. Their bullpen has been atrocious outside of Romano. So I don't know.
I'd say outside the Yankees, the Astros are the favorites to.
I think the
win
Astros. The Astros are really good because their starting pitching the starting pitching has been really good. Their bullpen's been good, but the starting pitching is they have 6 or 7 guys deep, especially with McCullers coming back. If McCullers comes back healthy, I think the Astros are the favorites. But right now, I think the Yankees, if they make a move at the deadline, because I don't see the Astros needing any big help at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think if the Yankees make a Castillo trade or like you said, freaking play Carpenter more than Gallo, that's literally all they need to get that little extra boost.
I think
Yeah,
we can agree that the AL's that we expect the AL to run through either the Yankees or Houston.
What's great about New York, playing in New York, is it's the best environment in baseball.
Yeah.
So it's you're gonna get an exciting series, even if the Astros don't make it to the championship series, the LCS. You're gonna get a team from AL East, so it's it's gonna be fun baseball. It's gonna be awesome baseball.
The AL just looks stacked as usual.
Okay, I have a question for y'all though. One of the biggest disappointments, I think by far the biggest disappointment is the Los Angeles Angels.
We also got to pat ourselves on the back because we did say, I think, after the first month we said we saw them falling off. And I think they even fell off more than I expected. They've been awful.
Especially with Trout not hitting.
I think it's just
That's
sad. It's like
if
you had your guy in Shohei and Trout, and then you're just sitting here with 39 wins. It's kind of embarrassing.
Well, the original guy that they went on and signed was Anthony Rendon, and
He's-
he can't stay healthy to save his life.
Been the biggest. That was one of the worst signings we've seen. That was $245 million.
7 years.
Has he played a full season? I don't even know.
But if you're the Angels manager, are you looking to trade Trout or Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah, I think you have to.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but they just won't because if they trade them, they have no team left. And
But you trade the 2 people and you're gonna get a team.
But here's the thing: I don't think that what you would ask for Trout or Ohtani is even obtainable from any team. More Trout so than Ohtani. Ohtani than Trout. I don't even know what a team could think about giving you to get a Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout.
Yeah, 'cause those are
farm system.
2
Yeah.
MVPs
I mean,
of the league.
Ohtani's arguably the best player in the league. If you want to talk about his pitching and his hitting, nobody else is doing that.
What is the rest of the Angels staff is 6-30, and Ohtani's 8-0.
I mean, it's the
or
same thing
something.
over and over again. They don't have any pitching. Same thing over and over again. They don't have any pitching, and that they lose because of that every year. It's Ohtani, and then there's nobody else.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I don't know, if I'm the Angels, like I would want to rebuild, but like as you said, you can't get rid of. There's no price that you can put on the two best players in the league. I mean, if you want to say that,
That's fair to say.
I mean, like they're not gonna win. They're not winning anytime soon. They're not.
It's like what Alex said. They probably should do it, but it's probably not obtainable. So you don't really see like teams like having enough to give up for like those two players. So it's probably not going to happen. Which
and then the money that they're owed, like not only would you have to give up a huge prospect, a generational prospect haul to get a guy like Mike Trout, and then he's also paid he's one of the highest paid players in the league. So I mean, there's really nothing you can do because they're also I'm sure as soon as they trade Ohtani and Trout, their ticket sales literally go to the bottom of the league.
Because who are you going to go watch the Angels?
That's what keeps them afloat is everyone wants to go see Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout. And then that division is, and then you also have the Oakland A's at the bottom of that division who have just given up on this year.
They're not gonna make it anytime soon.
Montas probably might be a guy that gets dealt.
He is hurt right now, though.
He is hurt, so
he has been hurt too. But his stuff is electric. I can't lie. Watching him, I mean, he deals against the Astros, but he deals a lot. I would love to see him go to the Yankees, him or Luis.
Yeah.
But also, I could see him in the NL. I mean, obviously, the Dodgers can make a play, but I like a Padres going after him. Their staff it's decent.
It could get better.
It could get better, exactly. Like, I don't know. Frankie Montas is already out west. Keep him out west. I don't know. Be a good ad for them. But I mean,
they're sellers at the deadline though. So guy like Sean Murphy could get dealt too. Ramon Laureano. I mean, anyone who has like any trade value at the deadline value is probably going to.
I mean,
trade.
Blackburn could get
dealt too. Is he a free agent this upcoming year? He might be. I don't know. But he was an all-star, so he's another guy that's gonna get dealt. But should we move on to the NL?
Yeah, I think moving on to the NL. Who are y'all's favorites? Y'all still sticking with the Dodgers or maybe like a team like the Mets?
I think the Mets really.
If DeGrom and Scherzer come back.
If DeGrom comes back healthy, then you have to look at the Mets. If DeGrom comes back healthy and he stays healthy, he needs to stay healthy.
Because Walker Buehler's out for the Dodgers. I think if DeGrom and Scherzer come back healthy, that's not lock up 2 wins in a series, but
the guys behind them like Taijuan Walker, who's also been having a really good year. And then you throw guys like Carlos Carrasco and then Tyler McGill,
a bunch of guys stepping up and producing.
And then Edwin Diaz has been arguably the best closer in baseball. He's striking out 2 guys per inning. So I think if DeGrom comes back healthy, the Mets are probably my favorite, even though I hate the Mets, just absolutely despise them.
I think my favorites right now are the Braves coming out of the NL.
Really?
Dude, whoever the people who win usually are the people who are hot. The Braves won it last year. I mean, it's hard to repeat, obviously. Sure. But I think if the Braves can catch the Mets, like if DeGrom and Scherzer are still hurt, and the Braves catch the Mets and win that division, I think they can win.
I can agree with that because when you overtake a team like the Mets to win the division, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that firepower, obviously, and you're gonna have like that momentum going into the playoffs. And what Peyton said, pretty much, it's not the best team that wins necessarily; it's the hottest team.
Their lineup has been amazing. I mean, Dansby Swanson has emerged into this offensive guy all of a sudden when he was always kind of a glove first kind of guy.
Yeah,
you have Ozzie Albies who's still hurt. William Contreras has been a present surprise. Travis d'Arnaud. I mean,
also another guy is Christian Harris, their center fielder.
Michael Harris.
Michael Harris.
Yeah, he's been good.
I think he's gonna have a good second half. Like, I mean, coming up, getting your first at bats in the league are not easy, of course.
He's been good.
Yeah, exactly.
You still have Marcelo Ozuna out there, Ronald Acuna. I mean, the team has a lot of depth and some arms. Max
Fried's been and
Spencer Strider, a guy out of nowhere.
Holy,
throwing absolute gas.
Guy throws cheddar and strikes out like literally everybody. So it's like, you saw it last year in their bullpen.
Their bullpen, they have arms. So those 2 teams right there in the NL East. You want to talk about 2 juggernauts going into the playoffs?
That's what I would say the Braves have the edge.
Battle.
I think the Braves are the edge of the Mets because of that bullpen, because of those arms in that bullpen. I think that's what separates them.
I'd say that unless unless, like we said, Scherzer gets back. Because if Scherzer gets back healthy, stays healthy,
And DeGrom, I mean, it's scary.
I don't.
Yeah,
I think
If
that's
you
DeGrom
have
gets
to go
back.
playoffs in a playoff series and face DeGrom game 1 and Scherzer game 2, that's an uphill battle.
Good luck.
NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies, another team that's been extremely disappointing. They spent so much money this offseason. They have one of the biggest payrolls in baseball, and they are just not very good. Nick Castellanos has quietly been one of the worst free agent signings of this year. I think he's hitting like 250, has like 9 home runs.
I mean, yeah. Schwarber has been hitting bombs, but dude, if you hit below like
He's hitting like 210, I think.
Dude, yeah.
I mean,
you're hitting 210 and you hit a bomb every like what 5
And
or
that's
6
Schwarber.
games.
That's Schwarber, though. You know what you're getting. And then Harper's been hurt. You know, he got hit with that pitch. Phillies pitching has never really been consistent. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they have to try to make the playoffs because they spent as a win now team.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's no rebuilding for them at the deadline. They might try to add another piece. I don't know what they would add. Maybe another pitcher, but they have to try to win. But they got 2 people in the division, the Mets and the Braves. I don't think they're passing either one of them. So they're looking at a wild card spot most likely if they even want to make it in.
At best, but I mean, you also have to compete with the NL West, which is always stacked in the Padres. You know who's coming back. We know who's coming. That's a bad man.
And that's another team that could make some moves at the deadline for starting pitching. I think, you know, before we move off the NL East, we have to talk about the Washington Nationals just because of the current Juan Soto
Oh
news.
yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
That
declining
440.
440.
$440 million. It was only like, I think it was $29 million annually. And I've seen that he wants, or Boris and him want, like the Max Scherzer annual value, which is $43 million a year.
I saw the chants at the All-Star game.
The Dodgers.
Like, future Dodgers.
I mean,
hey man, if
everyone at the All-Star game was talking to him. I saw the Yankees talking to him. Starling Marte was talking to him. I mean,
who wouldn't want a guy like Soto on there?
I mean, if
you can give up everybody.
If a trade were to go down, it would be one of the biggest trades in MLB history. We're talking like 4 or 5 MLB ready prospects who are the top of your farm, and probably an MLB ready guy. I mean, or an MLB guy. It would absolutely gut your farm system. But if you're trying to win a World Series, you're getting a franchise player for at least the next 10 years. One of the best hitters in baseball. Who's 23 years old.
Not only do you have to trade for him, you have to give him a new contract.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if I'm a team, I mean, I don't really see a team that can trade for him. As of right now, like obviously the Yankees and Dodgers, whatever, they have unlimited cap space.
It has to be a big market team.
You have to give up
A haul.
literally everything for this guy. I mean, obviously it improves your team drastically. I mean, going from Gallo to Soto wouldn't be too bad for the Yankees. I mean, obviously, but that would just be the villain horror story. That would be.
But I mean,
Stanton, Judge, and Soto on the same offer. That's ridiculous.
Like you said, it's not only the prospects you have to give up. You're going to have to pay him an absurd amount of money. Probably.
And if the Yankees
Did
struggle
he-
with paying Judge, they're gonna have a
So
hard
did
time.
he
paying
just?
Soto.
So he declined mainly because he wanted more money, or he wanted out of?
He wanted more money because he was getting, I think, like his annual value was like $29 million.
It was 15 for 440.
Yeah, and it was backloaded, so he was getting more money later in the years of his career, which
Yeah.
you never know how long you're going to play.
Right.
So I think he wanted more, and he wanted more money per year. He wants $40 million per year, which is, I mean,
Obviously ridiculous, but I mean,
it's ridiculous, but
player
that's
like
just
that.
that's
Would
just
y'all-
how it is.
I mean, not many teams can pay him that.
I think
It's just-
I think you can pay
it's
him, but I don't
absurd.
know if I'd want to trade for him and have to pay him. Because
As a
that's
Yankees
just,
fan, are you willing to do that
Oh,
for a
man.
chip this year?
for a chip this year, absolutely. But that is,
for this year.
but you have to gut the farm. It's
once Judge leaves, then you're screwed.
and if you pay him, you probably can't pay Judge. And I love Judge so much, so I don't know if honestly, I don't see Cashman pulling the strings to go get him because he's held on to these prospects for so long. I don't know if I see anyone trading for him just because
sitting on full piece, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's just such a high price. So I mean, we'll see. Josh, and they're gonna sell at the deadline. Josh Bell's probably gone too.
Yeah.
Maybe Cesar Hernandez. I don't know. They're one of the worst teams in baseball, so they
Yeah.
have to sell.
Who would you see a landing spot for like Josh Bell? Like right now, I don't know his landing spot for him, but He's been raking.
I mean, a team that needs a bat. I mean, he's a switch hitter. He can play some first. I think he's even played some outfield before. So
I mean, the Red Sox are always looking for a first baseman. We're awful there.
yeah, Dahlbeck is not the guy.
Dahlbeck's been iffy, so I mean, Josh Bell to the Red Sox, we could make a run to win the wild card.
Then the NL Central it's a division that's been pretty bad. Outside of the Cardinals and the Brewers, the Pirates, Cubs, Reds, all been pretty bad this year. But who do y'all like out of that division, or are y'all not really a big fan of anyone?
Cardinals. I mean,
Yeah,
Goldie's gonna probably be the
Unreal
MVP.
year.
I mean, dude's swinging like 320 with like 25.
They have some
games.
young guys who they've called up who have been pretty solid. Nolan Gorman, Brendan Donovan. Their arms, though, are kind of a mystery. They don't really have many arms. Their pitching has struggled outside of Waino.
I mean, when your ace is like 47 years old, like you got to get some new pitch. I mean, maybe that's a landing spot for Frankie or Luis. I mean, the Cardinals, the division's free. Literally, Brewers are
it's a
handing it
two-man
to you.
race.
Like, I mean, the Brewers have arms. They don't really like. They're the exact opposite of the Cardinals.
They can't hit though.
Like,
they have
exactly.
arms for days. They can't hit. I want to say Freddie Peralta is still injured and he's working his way back, so that could be another arm for the Brewers. But surprisingly, Josh Hader has been bad recently.
He has been bad, but Devin Williams
Williams
carry that.
He might. Don't be surprised if somehow, some way, Josh Hader is dealt at the deadline.
I heard that. I also heard
And
yes.
Devin Williams is the closer to the future because Hader's going to want a lot of money, and the Brewers are a small market team. You know, they probably don't want to give Hader the money he's going to look for. He probably is going to look for $20 million a year, which for a reliever is that's a ton. So I wouldn't be surprised Hader gets dealt. Devin Williams steps into that role. They get a big prospect return because it is the Brewers. They're not a big market team at all.
Yeah, I think you sell Hader to a humongous market team. Get
Contender.
a few really good prospects in return. Some outfitters that need some outfitters. But that division's
And then
pretty awesome.
Talking about the Cubs in that division, Contreras is probably another guy that I've seen that he's had his last few days as a Cub. He's probably going to get dealt to a contender.
That's for the ball, eighth inning.
It's rare to see a catcher like that who's going to be on the trade market, so that's probably it. He had a good tenure in Chicago, and you know, a team who needs a catcher is going to be interested on him. A team that's looking to make the playoffs, and especially with the universal DH, that's another guy you can put in that DH spot when he's not catching.
I would love him to go to the Astros.
Yeah, that is something the Astros that would elevate them a ton. If you can look at any move that they could make, that's probably the best move.
Martin Monardo hits 150. Everybody loves Martin Monardo, but the kid cannot hit. He hit a grand slam the other day. Everybody thought he was Black Jesus, bro, or Venezuelan Jesus. I don't know, but he's awful. He's got a gun behind the plate, but Wilson Contreras is one of the best catchers,
if not the best.
Yeah, in the basement.
And then the NL West is, as always, another really good division. The Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, Diamondbacks, and Rockies. You know what's new? They're not very good.
I think So Peyton already said that the Braves are his favorite, right? To come out the NL.
Yeah.
Alex, who do you have?
If I'm gonna say the Mets, because I think DeGrom comes back healthy, and that's my team to come out the NL. If DeGrom is healthy, that's the Mets. And do you like the Dodgers?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Dodgers. That was my team to make the World Series from the NL at the beginning, obviously.
As well. Just such a good, well-rounded team.
I agree. Yeah.
Their bullpen, they have the starting pitching.
God,
Gonsolin has been unreal. You know, he did just get tossed around the All-Star game last night, but you know it happens. He's been a Cy Young candidate this year, and obviously you have Clayton Kershaw. I did see Dustin May was back throwing again, which if they get him back, that could be scary. If they get Bueller back, I mean, talking about a rotation of Kershaw, Bueller, or Urias, Gonsolin, and
still waiting on Trevor Bauer.
Dustin May. Trevor Bauer is sitting in the looms waiting.
I hate the Dodgers, bro. So annoying, bro.
It is annoying.
Just give whoever you want money. Like, they'll come to the Dodgers. You're in LA.
I mean, isn't Freddie leading the league in hits?
Yeah.
That's good for him.
So and
with everything that's going down.
The Giants have been a team that's also been kind of They've been very mediocre.
Under the
Only
radar.
48,
Yeah.
43. They haven't been great. They've been playing some bad defense. Pitching hasn't been the best.
Yeah.
They've disappointed me a little bit. I was really high on the Giants early in the year, but I think let's take a look at the AL wildcard situation right now, and we have the Rays holding. Remember, there's 3 AL wildcard spots this year, correct?
3.
3, yeah. So they added a spot.
There is 3.
Rays, Mariners, Blue Jays are holding them right now. Red Sox right behind by 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So which 3 teams y'all looking at to nab the wild card spot and go into the playoffs if you had to pick right now?
I think there's 2 locks. I think the Mariners and the Rays are locks.
Really?
The Mariners are locks?
Yeah, I think the Mariners are 2
I
locks.
think the Rays are a lock. I can't say the Mariners are a lock.
Yeah, I'd say the Rays, not the Mariners.
I think the Mariners are too hot. I think they'll stay steady. They definitely won't catch up to the Astros, but I think they'll snag a wild card spot. And then I think it stands out is Blue Jays probably outduel the Red Sox and take the 3rd spot. That's my.
I just don't know how you can. I mean, obviously the Red Sox are a better team than the Mariners. I personally think they're a better team. But you play in the AL East, it's just
So
it's a
hard.
bloodbath.
Yeah.
So I think a team that could maybe sneak in is the Guardians. If they
Really?
if they hit well, I mean, obviously they pitch well, whatever. But I think they could sneak in, and I don't know if the Mariners make it because
They're the Mariners. They're the Mariners.
yeah, you come.
They're hot and they're
Continue
cold.
disappointment. I understand you have J-Rod, and everybody loves J-Rod. He's sexy.
The J-Rod
Definitely.
show.
The J-Rod show,
I like
exactly.
J-Rod too.
So it's, I don't know. With J-Rod, I mean, the Mariners are going to be good for a long
They have
time.
one of the best farm systems in the league too.
They're going to be good for a long time. I mean, Logan Gilbert's
Stud.
filthy, so it's like, if they can get their pitching going and like continuously pitch good, the Mariners will have a chance.
I'm gonna say my teams. I got the Rays. I think the Rays are a lock for sure. The Blue Jays, and then I think the Chicago White Sox pick it up and they step into that 3rd wild card spot or 2nd wild card spot at some point this year. I think they're too talented of a team to miss out on the playoffs. So I think they will make it. How far they'll go, we'll see. But I think I'm picking them as a little bit of a dark horse here to make it out. They got the mud.
Any chance 3 AL East teams? Do you
Oh,
think
there's
that's like a high possibility?
I don't think it's a high possibility, but it's a possibility only because coming down the stretch in the second part of the season, they're gonna be playing each other a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really hard for all those teams to keep winning. Just like it's gonna be hard for the Orioles to stay afloat, I think, because all the teams are gonna be playing each other a lot more. It's definitely possible though. It would be absolutely insane to see. There's no longer a 1-game wild card, so that changes a lot.
Did y'all like the 1-game wild card? I thought it was always fun.
I thought it was fun too.
Whenever the Red
If
Sox are
you-
whooping up on the Yankees, I know how.
When your
hard it
team
can get.
when your team loses, you hate
Right.
the 1-game wild card, but if you win, you love the 1-game wild card. I mean, I think it was fun because
It's good for baseball, yeah.
there was the amount of intensity
Right.
just for one game. It was something to see. I mean, it was win or go
I mean,
home.
who doesn't love a winner go home game, especially in the playoffs?
I mean, I always think about that Pirates and Reds game all those years ago. Johnny Cueto on the mound and then Russell Martin takes it deep. I mean, the 1 game, I guess at the end of the day, more money.
Pittsburgh hasn't been the same since then, bro.
Yeah. At the end of the day, a 3-game series makes more money than a 1-game series, so can't really say I'm surprised.
And also the 3-team series favors pitching now.
It does.
Heavily.
Whoever
more
has
than
more
one
arms
game.
is gonna.
Yeah.
That's just more game. That's more games. If you're a wild card team, that's more games you have to win to make the World Series.
That's also more games you have to pitch with arms.
Exactly.
Could tire out good arms if they only have a few. So I mean, the favorites to definitely win the wild card is definitely the Rays.
Just because they always have the arms. And then for the NL, what wild card teams are y'all looking at to make it into this postseason?
Well, okay, so either Atlanta or New York.
Yeah,
Mets.
whoever doesn't win that division.
Those are locks.
I think
obviously.
the Padres
Padres
are
are
a
locks.
lock as well.
And I think
I want to say the Cardinals.
I want to say whoever doesn't win that division as well. So I think all 3 second place finishers, I think all 3 of them will make the wild card. I don't see any of the 3rd place teams really jumping up. I think the Cardinals.
Not the Giants.
I don't see the Giants taking that step this year. I thought they were going to be a playoff team for sure, but I'm going to take my L on that. I really don't like them this year.
Yeah.
So I think we see the Braves or the Mets, Cardinals or the Brewers, and then the Padres in the wild card. Assuming the Giants or the Dodgers win the division outright.
I can get behind that. I think the Cardinals are my pick.
Don't even sleep on Miami though either. 5 games under 500.
I like Miami, but I'm sleeping on them. I don't think they have the bat. They have the bats to compete. They have the arm.
Best pitcher.
Sandy is the best pitcher in baseball. I 100% agree with that. So, with all this said, what's your World Series pick right now at the All-Star break? It's your pick. You guys stand by.
To win the World Series?
Your World Series matchup, who you got winning?
World Series match.
Let's say Subway Series giving the Yankees over the Mets in 6 games. Right now. Subway Series and the World Series again.
I really need to see what happens at the trade deadline. I think that's going to affect my decision because I think if you get an arm, if you're the Yankees, they're going to get an arm. But how good of an arm?
We'll see. It could be an Andrew Heaney move again.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. Like the Yankees make some like weird moves sometimes at deadline. So it depends. I think the safe pick would be the Astros.
Fair.
Safe pick.
That's fair.
But I'm gonna take the Yankees as well. If you go through the Bronx, the Yankees are probably winning it. I'm going Yankees, and I'm going Yankees against Braves. I'm going Yankees in.
Of course, you like that, Alex.
I like the Braves pick.
It pains
Yankees
me.
in 7.
It pains me to say the Yankees.
I'm
not gonna say the Yankees.
They disappoint me every year. So
Like how y'all are.
I have a rematch.
Wisconsin.
I have a Astros versus Dodgers World Series rematch,
I like that pick.
I wouldn't
Who
mind.
do you have winning? Dodgers?
and I have the Astros in 7.
Really?
Damn. Yes, sir.
I have the
A
Astros in 7.
little deja vu, 2017 all over again.
Crazy. Crazy what happened last time too.
Wow. All right, so there you see it. Those are our World Series picks. What about y'all got any MVP, Cy Young picks? I mean, y'all know I'm
I
gonna
think
take.
Shane McClanahan.
I agree with the Shane pick, 100%. He's been a stud.
Did y'all see Justin Verlander's numbers before the All-Star break?
I did, but I
The
do.
first
What is he? 11-3.
No. First pitcher ever with like 12 plus wins, sub 2 ERA, like over 9 Ks per. It was some crazy stat, but
I do want to say I think that his numbers will regress a little bit, just because I don't think they're gonna let him throw as many innings as he has the first half, just because he's coming off the injury.
Shane has like the best, he has like the best ERA and like second in strikeouts. You can't really like.
I just think it's tough because he's gonna be playing against the AL East, so I don't know if he's
but that could also be room for him to like, if he deals and they're like, he's doing this against the AL.
For the NL, I have Sandy as my pick. I think he's been the best pitcher in baseball. The amount of innings he's thrown this year has been unreal. He's thrown like 7 innings every outing, which is just unheard of this day and age. So I got Sandy as my pick for sure.
I mean, him, Freed, or Gonsolin
are all solid picks.
But I mean, Sandy should run.
For y'all's AL MVP.
I mean, I'm picking Aaron Judge. You can't expect me to do anything else. But it's probably going to be Shohei Ohtani again. He's honestly breaking the awards, because I don't know how you wouldn't pick a guy like Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, you gotta. It's the most valuable player, and he plays 2 positions.
My pick at the beginning of the year was Devers. Obviously,
There's
biased, but I mean, it's definitely a chance. But you got it.
You sticking with that?
No. You can't like not have Shohei as MVP.
It's either Judge or Shohei. Like
right. NL MVP.
Goldie.
Goldie, I agree with Goldie. I think it's pretty.
Goldie's having the best year out of everybody.
He's having the best year of his career.
Yeah, exactly.
The Cardinals were my third wild card team, and then mainly because of Goldie.
He's been unreal.
I mean, but I mean, I think the AL MVP shouldn't be just Shohei. Like,
I agree. I think it should be
I understand his pitching.
It's broken. Like, how do you not give it to him?
It is broken, but his hitting numbers aren't. I think if you would give it to him, I think you would put him in the Cy Young category because his pitching is really good. But
Pitching has been
I don't think he would win the Cy. I mean, obviously him and Shane would battle it out, and JV, whatever. But I think you give the MVP to the best hitter.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's such a hard.
It
situation
definitely is tough because, like we said,
especially
he is the most valuable player because he does
and there's
everything.
No one that can really compete in that sense when a guy who pitches and hits.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away Shohei out of the equation, like Devers, Jordan, and Judge are having amazing seasons.
All MVP caliber seasons.
I agree.
Like obviously Jordan doesn't play in the field that much, but I mean, he rakes. But Judge would probably be the outstanding, like by far the favorite. So I don't know. It just whatever the MVP. I mean, they'll probably give it to Shohei because it's good for the game.
It is good for the game,
and it sells more Angels tickets. So.
All that just to get dealt.
I mean, Yeah. What would you even trade for?
Well, what would you pay him first?
Your
of
whole
all?
farm.
I mean, you give him like Patty Mahomes type deal, 10 years, $500 million.
Half a bill.
Okay, well, whatever Soto gets, you could tack on like $100 million to that,
100
or two.
Dude, you add the pitching.
or 2.
Dude, he hits like 250. He's gonna hit you like 30 or 40 home runs a year, driving close to 100, and then he's gonna go on the mound. He's gonna post like
Sub 2.5 ERA.
Sub 2.5 ERA. He's gonna win double-digit games, and he's gonna probably strike out 150 or 200
His
guys
Ks per
year.
9 are like above 10. Like
You could argue that he's like a $200 million pitcher alone. And then
It's crazy.
it's
insane.
unreal. We'll never
Unheard
see
of.
anything like it again.
Babe Ruth.
Probably me coming up. Never know.
Yeah.
All right,
Maybe if I try
guys.
out next year.
That's gonna wrap it up. Thanks for listening, MLB.
I don't wanna get
Our MLB All-Star breakdown. Keep following the TikTok because we're gonna start posting on there a lot more. Hopefully, as soon as a Juan Soto deal happens or a Shohei Ohtani trade happens,
We're on it.
We're on that ASAP. Follow the Instagram, the Spotify, everything down below, and stay tuned. Peace.